Hey everyone out there on YouTube, it's Craig from Flying Wheels. That F-150 right there was by far the hardest sale I have ever had in my entire life. Why, you may ask? It wasn't the truck's fault, it was the buyer's fault. The buyer had low credit. So we had to get a low credit, subprime we call it, buyer financed, and it was an absolute nightmare, but we did it. And I'm going to tell you how we did it. I'm going to tell you how you can get subprime financing for your customers if you need it. Most of the time they go to the buy here, pay here, which is in-house financing. So when people ask, do you do in-house financing? That is buy here, pay here. Usually people pay per week. So when you see those advertisements, you can own this car for $42 a week. That's a buy here, pay here type dealer. They lend all their money out on credit to themselves. Pardon the interruption. Sales calls all day, every single freaking day, all day long. I drop what I'm doing so I can get more sales calls and pick up the phone, and they want an answer machine, want to sell me service. So anyway, back to work. This F-150, I sold it to a subprime buyer. Most of the time they go to the buy here, pay here. I am not a buy here, pay here. I don't want to be a buy here, pay here. I do not want to finance people and then have to go repossess a pregnant lady's minivan. That's not what I want to do. I just want to sell cars. Typically, I pick the low-hanging fruit, cash buyers. It's the easiest sale. I'm willing to take less money if you have cash just because it's so simple. This is by far the most difficult work, and I'm going to show you why. So I am not a direct lender. Direct lender means you go to TD Bank, you go to Bank of America, you go to your local credit union, you get financed. They are a direct lender. I am an indirect lender, however. I have a banker's license. So you can apply for a loan on my website. I submit the application to my lenders. My lenders send me the application. You come in, you sign all your paperwork, and then the lender gives me a check and you leave with your vehicle. Everything's good. So you can do everything in-house. So when I say in-house financing, yes, I do in-house financing. You could finance through me. Am I a buy here, pay here? No, I am not a buy here, pay here. So anyway, this vehicle has subprime financing, and it was by far the most work. If you have good credit, my number one choice is cash buyers. My next choice is good credit. If you have good credit and a deposit, it's even better. Or a down payment, it's even better, because I can just send the loan application, you go to the credit union, you get your loan, your paperwork in, they give you a check, you bring it to me, and it's as good as cash, and you leave with your vehicle. That's my second preference. Lastly is subprime financing. It is so much work. Because you have low credit, you need your firstborn, you need your last 5 years addresses that you lived at, you need 5 references. I'm going to show you the whole application. It's ridiculous. But anyway, let's get over into my office. I'll show you what we need to do to get them financed. So just to start with, no exaggeration, this right here is all the paperwork needed to send out to my bank to get this guy financed. It was so, literally, look how thick this is. All of these documents were required to help get this guy financed. It took me all day Saturday, all day Monday, and all day today to make this deal go through. Why did I do it? Well, I typically turn them down. I typically say no thank you. It's not worth the sale to me. But a sale is a sale, and money's money, and sometimes you got to pay your bills, and sometimes you've had a vehicle longer than you want. Well, I have had a vehicle longer than I'd prefer. It's that F-150. I should have sold that a lot sooner, and I haven't. So I want to sell it. So this guy has bad credit, so I know go directly to my subprime bank. So I submit the credit application, I submit the vehicle information, and then they come back with an offer. An offer means they don't give me what I want. They give you what they want. So basically, the ball is in their court 100%. Because if this customer wants a loan and can't get approved anywhere else, it doesn't matter, they just want their loan. So they get their 25% interest rate, and they pay the bare minimum for the next 4 years, and they have their car. They get completely taken advantage of. I tell them right up front, you are going to get taken advantage of. It's the bank that knows you need a vehicle, and they're going to hit you hard. It's not my fault. I get taken advantage of too. So now here's why I get taken advantage of. So I want that sale. Well, I'm willing to do pretty much anything to get that sale and make it work. So I do that. So this customer has bad credit. I send the application. I might have sold that truck for $10,000. Me and the buyer say, all right, $10,000, that's what we agree upon. I write up a bill of sale. I send it out to the subprime bank. Well, they call me back and say, no, we will only approve that sale for $7,000. That's what it's worth. That's what trade-in is. So they do trade-in plus 10%. So it's just awful. Now I'm getting taken advantage of because the buyer has bad credit. So I have to pay for the buyer's bad credit. So how do you make that work? Well, they'll pay out, say, $7,000, plus I want 20% down. So 20% down would be $1,400. Now we're at $8,400. Or I want 30% down. So what's that? $2,100. So now we're at $9,100. So if that customer has 30% down, we'll say it's $9,100. We're going to sell the vehicle for. Now I write the bill of sale up for $9,100 instead of that $10,000. So I take a $900 loss. On top of that, are you ready for this? The bank has a 12% fee, a surcharge that I cannot pass on to the buyer. They have a 12% surcharge that they take out of my cut. So if they offer me $7,400 on loan for that car, take 12% off of that. That's $750. So they'll take $750 and change off of that $7,400, so I get a check for $6,900. So that vehicle that I sold for $10,000, I will now get a check for $6,900 plus 20%. 30% is a little high. People don't usually have 30% in cash, especially if they have bad credit. So I'll get 20% normally. So that $10,000 truck, I might walk away with $8,000, $8,500 just to make this deal work. So I tell the customer anytime I know they have bad credit, I say, listen, this is how much the car is going to be. The bank has fees. I have to get my money for the car. The selling price of this car is this much. Forget what you saw it for online. It is this much, and that's how much it's going to cost because this bank has fees, and they're going to punish you for your low credit. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's not their fault. It's, we want to make it happen. This is what we have to do. So we do it. Well, next is what the bank requires. The bank requires proof of address. If you haven't been there for 5 years, they require all of your addresses for the last 5 years. They need 5 references, so 5 names and phone numbers. Why? Because when you stop paying for your car, because you have subprime credit, low credit, chances are you had a foreclosure, you had a bankruptcy, you had a repossession once in your life, which means you're willing to give up whatever you signed your name on previously. The chances are you're willing to do it again. So they want to secure that loan best they can. So they get 5 names, 5 phone numbers of your closest relatives and friends, so they know when you stop answering your phone who they can call to track down your vehicle. That's the next one. Then they want driver's license, passport, they want utility bills, they want bank statements, everything they can get to prove you are who you are and you can afford this payment. So the documentation alone took me all day on Saturday and half of yesterday. On top of that, they have this thing right here. This is called a Lender Systems iPay. So it has 4 digits on it. You plug it into the car, and every month when your payment is due, it blinks red when you start your car up. If your payment has been made, you get a text message with a 4, 5, 6-digit PIN. You punch it in on the first of the month, your truck runs for the next 30 days. Then when your payment's due, you make your payment, you get a new PIN number texted to you, and you punch it in every single month till your loan's paid off. It's a GPS tracker and immobilizer. So it doesn't allow you to start and run your vehicle unless you make that payment. There's a 14-day grace period, 10 to 14-day grace period. So if you're late on a payment, it blinks every day. Then it'll blink yellow, it'll blink green, yellow, and then red means you're done. You haven't made your payment. We're stopping your vehicle. They won't allow you to start it. I know what you're thinking. We'll just unplug it. You can't. If you unplug it, they get notified. It's like one of those wristbands or ankle bracelets that the cops have when you get in trouble, when you're on house arrest. If you unplug it, your loan is due immediately. Immediately, that vehicle gets repossessed or your loan is due. So everything you've paid up to this point, it's gone. It's lost. So you do not want to unplug this immobilizer. Okay, the immobilizer. Well, no big deal. They'll install it. Wrong. The dealer installs it. So when I say this is the hardest I've ever worked to make a sale, the documentation, I don't mind sitting on my butt in the chair in my office and doing some hard work on the computer. Today, I was physically on my back underneath the car, wiring up this immobilizer from the starter up to the wiring harness underneath the dash, tearing things apart. Took me 8 full hours today to install this immobilizer for someone else. So I am always being punished for people's subprime, bad credit. But do I want to make the sale or do I want to make the sale? If I didn't do all this work for the past 3 days, that truck would still be sitting in my parking lot. So I'm still going to turn a profit on the vehicle. I know I want to sell it. I know I want it out of here. I'm going to liquidate some cash, buy some more vehicles. took me 3 days of hard work, but it's gone. I moved some cars, I moved some inventory, I can move on to the next car. So let's go over the truck. I'm going to show you what the immobilizer looks like. So I just finished working on this truck, so that's why it's so filthy in here. But I'm going to show you right here. Here's our immobilizer. You'll see it blinking green. So I can start the truck. If I take the key, turn it on, the truck will start, everything's great. If it's blinking red, it means it will not start. It will not allow you to start. So that is a starter interrupter. It sends a signal to the starter that it actually just allows the signal being sent to the starter to say, okay, let's start the vehicle. If it's red, it shuts the connection off and won't allow that signal, that connection to be made to the starter. Again, if you unplug that thing, your payment is due on the spot. On the spot. So 10 grand up front, now give it to me. And you lost your 20% deposit, and you lost all of your payments. When I say give it to me, don't give it to me. The bank says give it to me, not me. I wish I got it. The good thing about it, why do I want to do this, you might ask? Why do I want to use the immobilizer? Well, there is no recourse. What is recourse? Well, recourse is the next thing. So this bank in particular uses these immobilizers. Other banks use recourse. What is recourse? Well, if a customer doesn't make their first payment, the bank can call the loan due on the dealer. So it's up to the dealer to make sure that customer's making their first payment. If they're not, the bank calls me and says, hey, Craig from Flying Wheels, you owe us $7,000 and we need it back. We're going to take it right out of your bank account. You know that account that we direct deposit the money in? We're going to ACH it right out. So I hope it's in there or you're going to go negative. So that is another problem with financing for subprime financiers. They may not, this bank uses the immobilizer, other banks may not use the immobilizer, but the banks that don't use the immobilizer have recourse, which means if that customer doesn't make their first payment, you are responsible for making the car payment in full and then going to repossess the vehicle. Well, is there a benefit to that? Kind of, yeah. So that customer put down 20%. It's always mandatory required. Subprime has to put down 20%. So they put down $1,400 on a $7,000 car. You go repossess it. You own that truck again, and you got to keep your down payment of $1,400. So you made $1,400 and you had to go repo a car. So it stinks. I don't want to go repossess cars. I'm not in the repo business. I can go pay a repo guy to go get it for me, and I still get to keep my $1,400. But I don't want to do that. I just want to sell cars and move on to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and get turnover. I don't want the deal to continue to follow me after the fact. So that is the decision I made to go with this bank versus a recourse bank. So that's what you can expect when you get a subprime buyer. As soon as they say they have bad credit, roll your eyes, not in front of them, because it's going to be a lot of work for you. But do you want to make that sale or do you not want to make that sale? Is that car a gem that you know you can sell to somebody for all the money that has good credit? Then hang on to it. But if it's something you've been sitting on for a while, if it's something that you want to get rid of or you need to liquidate, then sometimes it's worth all of this work, all of this headache. And it looks like it's as easy as just installing that thing and plugging it in. No, I had to hardwire it to the wiring harness and find very specific wires, and every vehicle has different colored wires, and you have to figure out which wire does what. There's so much work. I'm sick of doing it. I'm tired. I want to go home. But I did want to show you how much work it was so you understand what you're in for if you do want to finance low credit buyers. Hey, if this video is at all entertaining or helpful, smash that like button so other people get to see it. Do me a favor to subscribe for more car tips, tricks, videos, etc. I'll see you guys later. Adios.